Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Dora and this is my second update, I believe, to Project Level Up. It's been a while. I promise I've been doing this project, but I've been stuck on level 2 for quite some time now. So my level 1 palette was the Natasha Denona My Dream palette, and I completed that on the 21st of March. And I was able to hit 1 pan in Serenity, and I used all of the other remaining shades 1 time each. I also announced in my intro that I was only going to do no pan left behind for each palette in this project 1 time through, but then I felt really bad because, you know, I've been working on my level 2 palette, the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, since the end of March. And this is literally me coming back here 6 months later to say, yes, I have completed level 2, but I've also done no pan left behind twice through on all of the remaining shades, and I've hit the 2 new pans. As a reminder, this is the color story of this beautiful palette, and I hit pan in the shimmer shade Ray up here quite early on. I think I've got the date. On the 22nd of April, so it only took me a month to hit pan in this shadow. And then only a few days ago, I hit pan in Eucalyptus. Yay, there it is. I actually saw that Sofie, who's the creator of this project, is working on Eucalyptus right now in pan those eyeshadows. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, if you don't know this project, please make sure you check out Sofie Alexandra's channel, and I'm going to link the collaborative playlist as well as Sofie's channel down below in the description box, so you can check that out. Yeah, amazing project. I really love it. I think where I've been struggling is that I've only been randomizing, so this is my second round of doing this project this year, and I've only ever randomized from palettes that have no pans yet, because I wanted to have more palettes with pan in them. Let's go through the numbers of how many times I use these shadows, because some of them I've used more than twice, not just the pans. And then I've got a few looks to share with you as well. Yeah, some from April, 1 from May, and 1 from September. So I'll do that, and then I want to show you 3 palettes that I have selected now for my level 3 palette. My intention is to complete level 3 before the end of the year. That's my goal. I did that last year as well. I hopped on a bit later, and you know, I still managed to complete 3 levels. I think I started in like spring of last year, and yeah, so I think it'd be good. So, you know, seeing as I had a whole year to work on Project Level Up this time round, I think I want to at least meet the goal that I did last time. Snow, Brow Bone shade, sort of bone colored, I used 3 times. Sky I used twice. Raw I used 11 times, but I hit pan after 10 uses. Twilight, 7 uses. I really tried with this one initially to hit pan on it, but because I was only using it on the outer corner, you will see with these looks in a moment, yeah, it was just too difficult, and then I abandoned it. Ocean I used twice, Forest I used twice, Breeze and Mint and Moss and Ivy I used twice. Lime I used 3 times. Again, I was thinking after I thought about not using Twilight anymore for pan, maybe that Lime would be a contender. Nope, didn't feel like it. Moved on. Leaf 2 uses, Eucalyptus 9 uses, and that's when I hit pan. Marigold 2 uses, as well as Fossil as well, very shimmery. I only used it as a topper shade. Poppy and Raw, Heat, Earth and Sunrise, so all these bottom shades I only used twice. I was struggling with the red ones the most. It's a beautiful palette. I really do like it. I think I could have done without the bottom row, to be honest. I think it's just because they are so pigmented, these shadows, which of course on the one hand is really, really beautiful. I find that it makes it harder to work with them for me because I only wanted a subtle little bit of red. But yeah, here we are. Finally completed it. 6 months later, I'm so glad to be rolling another palette in, and yeah, I can't wait to see which one you're going to pick out for me because I've got my pre-selection here, as I said. Let's look at some looks then. In this look, I used 4 shades from this palette. I started out with this entire look with the Caviar Steak by Laura Mercier and Amethyst all over the lid. And then I put Russell, a minty but more blue shadow than this one called Mint here from Pando's eyeshadows all over my lid, and this was also on my lower lash line. And then I put Forest in the outer corner. I used Breeze with my finger, just dabbed on top. Mint went into the crease, and Ray, of course, in the inner corner. Very pretty, shimmery, green leaning shadow. The following day, and this is the look that helped me to hit pan in Ray, and that was the only shadow that I used. But yeah, just so you know, Caviar Stick again. I used a brown shimmer from Pando's eyeshadows called Glamour. I used a Too Faced shadow from That's My Jam called Jam on It in the outer corner. Glamour all over the lid, I think I said that. Natasha Denona Ayana Glam Green went all over the lid, Ray in the inner corner, and then a shadow called Neutral that is actually a little bit pink went in the crease and on the lower lash line. So that was the look that got me pan on Ray. Here's a look where I used Twilight, that beautiful navy midnight blue matte shadow on the outer corner. Caviar Stick, Amethyst, Laura Mercier all over the lid again. Russell again, that minty shadow all over the lid, another matte one. A shadow called Neutral, but this time a white one, went on the crease, and then Fractal on the inner corner. Here's another look with Twilight, but I also used 2 more shadows from the Wilderness palette. I used an Elf No But shadow stick in Rose Quartz all over the lid as my base. Russell again, yes. Of course, went all over the lid. Twilight on the outer corner, then Ocean dabbed on top, and Sky for the crease this time, and then Fractal in the inner corner. This next look is from just 2 days ago, and I just tried to complete my No Pan Left Behind second time round for this palette, so I had to use a lot of shades. So I just combined 3 shadows that I thought would work well together. What I basically had in mind was to team a minty shadow, shimmery, quite light, with a warm brown. I got that idea from a eyeshadow roulette video that I must have posted maybe about 2 years ago. I'm not even sure. I'm going to link the video up here in case you want to see. It's like from my early days. But I really enjoyed that look because, yeah, it was just a bit like a palette bingo, but across my entire collection. So these shades were randomized and I quite liked the result. And I thought, let me see if I can, you know, bring that back, because this palette just lends itself to that, I think. So I mixed the shades a little bit. So basically I used an Elf No But shadow stick called Perfect Pearls. It's a lot lighter as a base. And then Mint went all over the lid. Then also Breeze went all over the lid. So I combined these shadows, just a light layer of each of them. First Mint, then the shimmer Breeze, this one. Then I used a Catrice shadow, just like an inner corner highlight type of shadow, which is this one here, all over the lid, just to make it a lot lighter. And then Earth went into the outer corner, but because there was a bit of offset here with the green shadows, you know, it was sort of going a bit more cool toned than I was expecting. I then used Blazing from my Kombucha Kiss Revolution palette, which is my Panda palette for this and last year. So I'm going to insert what that pan looks like here now from my last update so that you can see, because I don't necessarily want to open this up yet. I just made it more warm through that. And then a shimmery shadow from my Revolution Pro So Jaded Quartet that I've currently got in Panda's eyeshadows. Again, I'm going to show footage here of what this one looks like from my last PTE update. That went all over the top. And then this again in the inner corner, and this in the brow bone here. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Energy from the Kombucha Kiss, but this is a Franken, went on the lower lash line. I really enjoyed how that look came out. It was probably my favorite one, or maybe on par with the looks that I created with Russell, which is basically BH Cosmetics from the Doja Cat Visions palette. That one over the lid, all over the lid, and then Twilight on the outer corner. I also really enjoyed those too. But yeah, it was nice to sort of play around with different color combinations. I did enjoy that. So having said that, I'm still super happy to put this palette away. I think, yeah, I mean, it's kind of Christmassy, isn't it? Could also be like a good autumn palette. Probably works really well all year round, but I think I don't know, I just think that this is like, trying to pan this to completion, I think is quite the commitment, and I don't think I would want to do that. Because as I said, I'm not keen on the red ones here. I think, yeah, I'll leave them in. Maybe there's a way to multitask them, find a different way of using them, you know, should they ever get rolled into a pan as eyeshadows perhaps. Something like that. I think I could figure it out, but I'd need more time, not just 2 uses. Today I'm wearing the remaining shadows that I still hadn't used up until today, just to complete my No Pan Left Behind. And I'm wearing Heat all over the lid. Then I toned it down with Passion, another Franken from my Pan That palette. So I put that all over the lid after this one as well. Then Ivy, this really nice dark green matte shade, so pigmented, went on the outer corner, and I sort of threw that through the crease as well. Then I put the Revolution So Jaded shade number 3, that pressed glitter, very fine pressed glitter, all over the lid, just to pull it together a little bit. And then Passion from my Pan That palette again went on the lower lash line. And I've got the Catrice inner corner highlight and sort of brow bone shadow in there as well. Oh, and then I used Raw as a blush topper, because I had forgotten that I hadn't used this one yet, and then I wanted to use it as a blush after I'd already applied my cream blush. Little tiny dab with my brush in. It still came up really pigmented, but I think I can get away with it probably. So that's that. I'll probably wash this off and after this update and try something else out. Like, you know, there's a reason why certain shadows were left until the end. Okay, let's look at my palette selection for level 3. So I thought about this and I thought it might be a really good idea if at least 2 of those are palettes that have already got pan in them and therefore have got much more use on them. I also wanted to opt for palettes that I've still got in Duty Pan My Battleship, which I'm playing over on Instagram. Link down below if you want to check that out. There's also a link to Billie's account, who's my Battleship partner and friend. And I've still got 10 palettes in Duty Pan My Battleship at this point. We end this challenge at the end of the year, and I'm trying to hit as many pans as possible. Obviously, I want to sink all the ships. If one of those palettes gets chosen for this project, then of course I don't want to count the pan for Duty Pan My Battleship within this project as well. I'm not gonna double up like that, but I think if I've got a palette out already, because I'm trying to hit level 3, then I'm more likely to also incorporate my Battleship shadow in this whole experience too, and sort of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. ABH Riviera, I would love to work on this one. Oh, this, by the way, I got from Ruth, as well as the Wilderness palette. So link down below, make sure you check her out. Follow her if you're not already. I'm just really quite intrigued. I've never worked on an ABH palette in a project as such. I mean, yeah, Seaside is in Duty Pan My Battleship. I had this one in my 30-day makeup bag challenge earlier this summer. I'm gonna link the video up here again. And although I didn't use all the shadows, I made a nice bit of progress. So I think I'm really close actually on this shadow here called Estate, and also Cans. I think I'm not too far off. And I think this shadow here, Yacht, this brown, warm brown shimmer is just so beautiful. Very bronzy shimmer. I think this could be kind of fun. 14 pans though, so that is obviously 42 uses minimum on this entire palette, just for the No Pan Left Behind part. But yeah, I think this is a very strong contender, and I literally can't decide between these 3. Okay, next one, again, there's a shadow in here that I want to hit pan on for Duty Pan My Battleship, but it's also one of my PTP 2025 contenders. I wanted to pick one of them just to see, would I get bored of this palette if it's my focus? And maybe it would help to actually have a little bit of a head start for Pan That palette if I end up choosing this one. Who knows? This is the shadow I'm trying to hit pan on for Duty Pan My Battleship, and I think I would probably try and pick a couple of shimmers for the 3 pans, maybe even one of the mattes, and or possibly one of the pressed glitters as well. Yeah, I think that could be really fun. And yes, there are 18 shadows here, which is quite a lot. That would be 54 times of uses minimum just to complete level 3 without even hitting pan. But I do think that with all of these matte shadows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could just add them to a look. They wouldn't take the place of another shadow that I am trying to finish in the kombucha case. And then similarly with the pressed glitters, they are something that I can add on. There's not a pressed glitter in here competing with that. So that actually only makes 11 shadows that I'm going to, you know, struggle with potentially for No Pan Left Behind 3 times through. 33 uses minimum where I'm not using kombucha kiss. But having said that, if you watch my Pan That palette updates, you know that by now I am using one of these shadows in every single look that I'm doing, just because I want to try and get a nice bit of progress. And then I wanted to bring back my last year's level 4 palette. I never hit the goal on that palette. When I refreshed at the beginning of the year, I hadn't hit any pans here. I know I completed No Pan Left Behind 1 time through, and I know that there were some shadows that I used more than that as well. And here's the color story. I'm really feeling the purples right now, craving them. I mean, that could change. I might get really bored of it, but yeah, only 6 shadows here. So that's only 18 uses minimum to complete the No Pan Left Behind 3 times through and then to hit 3 pans. I would have to watch back that video because I know that, I think I seem to remember that I said that these were very powdery and therefore easier to hit pan in. I know that historically these XX Revolution pans are fairly easy for me to hit pan in. So yeah, I would probably pick one of one of these shimmers here, one of the mattes, and probably definitely this deepest and darkest shimmer shadow here as well. So yeah, contender number 1, ABH Riviera. Option number 2, Revolution Pro Rockstar Nude Edition. I always say Nude Edition because I have the Noir Edition as well. And then option 3, XX Revolution Sugar Baby. Let me know what you think. Which one would you pan? And I'm just gonna go with the majority of what everyone has voted on and pick that one. Very excited to find out. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I hope you're having a lovely rest of your day or night, wherever you are, and I'm sending you so much love. Take care, bye.